Richard Skipper celebrates. Every show is a celebration. Each show, Richard delivers the artists you love, showcasing what makes them unique. Never gossipy. The antidote to a sometimes hectic world. Now, here's your host, Richard Skipper.
I saw him smile, I knew he was just my style. My only regret is we've never met, though I dream of him all the while. But he doesn't know I exist. How can I ignore the boy next door? I love him more than I can say. Doesn't try to please me, doesn't even tease me, and he never sees me glance his way. And though I'm heart sore, the boy next door affection for me won't display. I just adore him, so I can't ignore him. The boy next door. I just adore him, so I can't ignore him. The boy next door. I'd like to thank, no, I'm not going to say it like that, thanks. Thank you so much to David Wayne Fox for that lovely track that he made for me out of the goodness of his heart and just sent to me, because he'd like to hear me doing the song. So there we go. Thank you so much, David. That was great. And hi everybody. I hope everyone's well, hope everyone's feeling good, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. I'm Richard Skipper, and my show is all about celebrating artists and their body of worth. And that, of course, was Debbie Wileman. Full disclosure, I'm a huge fan. And this is a real honor for me to be able to sit down and chat with her about her life, how she's dealing with pandemic, and of course, how she's creating these phenomenal videos, which you just saw. And yes, that was her voice. I want to begin by reminding everyone that it has been 218 days since our theaters shut down. I was actually supposed to go to London this summer for the first time, my first time ever. I was going to see Imelda Staunton in Hello, Dolly. And since I can't go to London, perhaps we can bring a little bit of London to us. Now, for those of you who are in New York, it's a dreary day out. It's been pouring rain, but with a click of a button, I can bring in a little sunshine. And here she is.
Hello.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I want to begin by asking you, how are you doing really in the midst of this world that we're living in right now?
Well, it's weird. It's got its silver linings. If it hadn't been for this whole situation, I wouldn't have put any videos of me singing on there, and we're all healthy, luckily enough. Me, my daughter, and my husband, and my mum and dad, and my close family and friends. So I can't really complain because there's so many people who've been affected by it, obviously. So we're all right. It's a drag. It's a drag because we had some new lockdown type things come in where we live, meaning that no one can come around your house. From Saturday, from tomorrow, no one can go around your house. You can't go around anyone's house. You can't meet anyone indoors from another household. So, I mean, it's a pain, but really, all things considered, compared to what other people have had, if the only bad thing I get out of this pandemic is, I couldn't go around my friend's house and I haven't been to the cinema and whatever, it's not that bad, really, is it?
Well, I mean, the rest of us are as awful as all this is. Thanks to you, you're keeping us entertained. Have you ever been to the United States? Let's start there.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I first went to America as a present for my 18th birthday. Me, my mum and dad, it was their present to me. We went to New York when I was 18. For I think 4 days. That was great. And then more recently, about I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, my husband, me, my mum and dad did like a once in a lifetime dream holiday. We went to LA and then we drove to San Francisco and then we drove to Vegas and did the sort of triangle. And that was fab. We packed tons in because if you go on holiday with my dad, it's not relaxing. It's right. We're doing
it was with my dad.
Yeah, you get a lot done and a lot seen. And my parents and my husband were very indulgent. They let me go to all the sort of cemeteries and stuff like that I wanted to in like Hollywood and things. But really annoyingly, Judy was moved to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery the year after we'd been there. And I'd been at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
She used to be in my neighborhood. She was just across the river, and I'd actually been to her graveside here in New York. And then I remember, I understand with Liza and Lorna being on the West Coast that they would want their mom nearby. But it was sad for all of us here in New York because she's such an important part of New York. And obviously, she's become such a part of your life. Did you grow up listening to all of Judy's music?
Yes, I did. Sorry, there's been an interloper come into the room. You can
well, we love interlopers. Hello, how are you?
How are you? Nice.
Oh, that's nice. And who is this? This is your daughter, obviously.
Yeah,
and
this is Sadie.
Hello, Sadie.
Oh.
Do you need a moment?
She doesn't want her bath. It's all right.
Well, if you want to take a moment, I can show another film clip.
Her dad's there. She's not like by herself. It's like
well, everyone, as you can tell, we are doing a live show.
I did say, it's on air at 7:30. Would you mind?
No, that's quite all right. I absolutely understand. I love it, actually. I actually do. So you did you grow up listening to Judy Garland's music?
Yeah. It's sort of almost a rebellion in a way. My dad is a psychedelic rock musician. That's what he does as a job. He's the Bevis Frond is his band, and I love psychedelia, but it's sort of weird getting into Judy, Frank, Sammy Davis Jr., all of that. It's almost like what have you? No, I haven't done this, my child. You know, it was my grandmother really introduced me to Judy Garland specifically, but all of that sort of genre really through films. That's my dad's mum. I used to go around her a lot. We were very close, and she'd put on all sorts of films, lots of Fred Astaire as well, and Gene Kelly, and I loved it. We'd sort of sit on her settee and watch a VHS. But when I saw Easter Parade, when I was, I don't know when I first saw it, very young, about, I don't know, 5 or 6. When I first saw Easter Parade, I thought, I like her, because she's funny. It wasn't just the sort of very pretty, can sing and dance. It was she's funny as well. And that's what really got me initially.
Well, she truly was one of those consummate entertainers. And I use the word entertainer as opposed to the word performer, because she was an entertainer. And she could act, she could dance, she could sing, and she was incredibly funny. Lucille Ball once said that Judy Garland was the funniest woman that she knew.
Yeah, I've read that. She said, you think I'm funny? No, Judy Garland's funny. You're both funny, Lucy. How about that?
That's right. Well, for myself, and I'm a lot older than you are, but I grew up at a time when The Wizard of Oz was shown every year on television. I actually have in your honor today, I have my Judy Garland mug.
Oh, I feel like I should go and get mine. I've got a Judy mug, a different one.
And I actually have my own pair of ruby slippers that I have here in your honor today. So
they are cool.
So let's begin by saying I'm a huge Judy Garland fan. And you don't disappoint. So I grew up at a time where we watched The Wizard of Oz every year on television. Was that also your introduction to Judy, or were there other albums or music that you began with?
No, it was Easter Parade. That was my introduction to her. And that was the first time I ever did an impersonation of her, was when I was, I'd say about 11, or maybe a bit younger. So I used to go around to my grandmother's house about at least once a week, and we'd watch films together. And quite often I'd say, can we watch Easter Parade? Because it was one of my favorites. That and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Oh, one of my favorites as well.
Love it. They were our faves. And when my grandmother played piano as well. When I was about, 10 or 11 or something, I realised, I'm not quite sure how, I think just for sort of fun, that I could sing a bit like Judy. And the first thing I ever tried to sing like her is from Easter Parade. I haven't done this online anywhere. And I did it for my nan. I said, Nana, listen to this. And I did... I love a piano. I love a piano. I love to hear somebody play on a piano, a grand piano. It simply carries me away. I know a fine way to treat a Steinway. I love to run my fingers over the keys, the ivories, and with the pedal. I love to meddle when Paderewski comes his way. It's so excited if I'm invited to hear the long-haired genius play. So you can keep your fiddle and your bow. Give me a P-I-A-N-O-O-O. I love to stop right beside an upright or a high time baby grand.
Wow, yes. Well, folks, that's our show today.
I haven't practiced that.
No, I want to ask you, did you do any warm-ups this morning, or does this just come out like this?
Well, I've been talking all day, so I mean, my throat's pretty warm.
Oh,
But
that's
no,
right. It's much later for you than it is for us here. So,
oh yeah, it's
good.
7:45 at the
Yeah.
moment. But no, I don't really get much chance in the day because my daughter's not yet 3. And yeah, I'm looking after her. So she's not that interested in Judy Garland impersonation.
She will be. She will be. Well, I love the fact that you grew up in such a musical household and you were exposed to all genres of music. You know, arts and education is something that I'm very compassionate about. And of course, funding for the arts is one of the first things to get cut when they feel that cuts need to be made. But I want to get back to your grandmother, because also in the case of Judy Garland, you know, her grandmother also was the one who pushed her on stage when she was 2.5 years old. And I miss and loved my grandmother, both of them. But what was your grandmother's reaction when this voice came out of this 11-year-old child?
Oh, she loved it. I've been singing for ages before that anyway. Like I say, she used to sing as well, but she was a fantastic pianist, and she'd often get me to sing with her playing the piano. So I used to sing, the first sort of things I sang with her were probably Cry Me a River by Julie London, because she could play by ear, and she was also a sight reader. And also, what did I used to sing with her? Stuff from My Fair Lady as well, and Shaking the Blues Away, also from Easter Parade.
Now, weren't you doing a production of My Fair Lady when the pandemic hit? Or did I read that somewhere?
Literally, I hadn't acted on a stage for 12 years or something. And I did a sort of local theatre production for fun, because I love My Fair Lady as a show. And I saw that there was a little local production that was happening. So I thought, ooh, that'd be fun. So yeah, I did that. Literally, it was a week's run. It finished on the Saturday and we went into lockdown on Monday. So we just squeaked in.
Well, obviously you are a phenomenal singer. Have you had any formal training for any of your singing, or is it just a natural gift?
The singing, I haven't. I did a performing arts degree at university, but that was more sort of acting. There was lots of different modules. It was cool. It was Salford University up near Manchester, well, in Greater Manchester. And yeah, I did lots of different stuff, but it wasn't necessarily, I've been lucky enough to be able to sing. So I haven't had like voice lessons or anything.
Now, and I'm going to get to the all these incredible videos as well. And I'm going to put this, I've got a little banner here that I'm going to put on the screen here so that people can go to your YouTube page and see all of, after the interview, of course, all of the great YouTube clips that you're doing.
Oh.
But is there a particular era of Judy's life and career that you gravitate towards the most? Is it the concert years? Is it the film years? What do you prefer? And obviously we saw this phenomenal clip of you from Meet Me in St. Louis and the fact that you recreate these numbers.
Well, I try. I
well,
mean,
you do. You succeed.
I'll let you in on a secret. It's all done on a sort of budget and like mum sort of in quarantine type thing of like, what can I do to make it look like what she's got? That was one of my husband's work shirts that I was wearing there. And the bow, yes, toilet roll. It was toilet paper.
I did the magic of theater.
You know, it worked. Toilet roll with sellotape on it around my husband's work shirt. But, so, you know, it sort of worked.
you have become such a phenomenon here in New York. Are you aware of the impact that you're making here?
I don't know, not really. It's quite abstract. I mean, I get a lot of lovely messages, and I'm aware that, you know, people send me really nice messages, and there does seem to be a lot of people in New York.
Well, I have to tell you, before, I mean, you know, long before we got to this point, I would hear, have you seen Debbie Wileman? Have you seen her? Have you heard her? And I kept hearing this over and over and over again. And then John Mayer, who is a very dear friend of mine, who of course was involved with Judy Garland,
Yes.
he called me and said, Judy lives through Debbie Wileman. You have to go.
No.
Yes, he did. He said, you have to go and see her. And coming from John,
Yeah.
I knew that I would, but how did that begin with the video? I mean, you decided during lockdown that I'm going to put a video out there. What was the first one that you did?
Misty by Johnny Mathis. So basically, I did train to do theatre and singing and acting and all of that. And I'd sung in bands previous to that. And, you know, I sang with my grandmother at the piano. I also sang with my dad playing guitar. And I was never in his band, but I was in a jazz band when I was 17. Singing all sorts of standards at the Quaglino's restaurant in London, which is actually where Judy had her 5th wedding reception.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know. While I was singing there, age 17, I didn't know that. And that I since read, I was like, oh, blimey. I was there every Friday and Saturday for a year singing. Anyway, I forgot what you asked.
No, I was asking about the first video that you did, and it was Misty.
Sorry.
Johnny Mathis.
So I haven't done anything for ages. I did a bit of theatre, and when I was doing my degree, at the end of it, you could either do a thesis or a show. You liked, so hello, show. And I thought, well, what do I want to do? What would I like to do most? I've got carte blanche, you know. So I thought, oh, I'd love to play Judy Garland because I've always been a fan. And this was when I was 20. I started doing this. I decided to write a show for my degree. And so I did a sort of short one-woman show for my degree, just because I thought, oh, that'd be great. I'd love to play Judy Garland. And so I did that at uni, and then someone saw it and said, would you do it at this small sort of gay bar theatre in Manchester called Taurus? And I was like, oh, yeah, brilliant. And then I did it at Taurus for a bit, made it a little bit longer. And then I did it at the Lowry Theatre in Manchester. And this was all when I was like 21. And then I did it at the King's Head Theatre in London for a week and then a month. And that was all really cool. And that went on till I was about 23, these sort of performances. I did a tour of Little Voice in the UK playing LV. So you sing as Judy and Shirley and Marilyn and all sorts. But then, I don't know, I just didn't really get enough work to keep myself afloat, you know, and I had to work and get a job and pay bills. It was a weird one. And so, you know, that's life, isn't it? I had to get a job. I've done
Trust me, I know what you mean.
All manner of terrible jobs.
Yes.
And then, you know, I got married, had a baby. I hadn't done anything for ages. But obviously, I still like singing for myself. And when lockdown started and there was all this self-isolating stuff, I thought, oh, I had 650 friends on Facebook. And I thought, wow,
That's strange.
Yeah, I'm bored at home, you know. And if someone's by themselves, self-isolating, it must be a bit grim. I know, I'll sing a song a day on Facebook. Why not? Might cheer up someone if they're by themselves. That was my thinking. And so I started with Misty by Johnny Mathis. And then on day 2, I did At Last by Etta James. And then on day 3, I thought, oh, I'll do a Judy. So I did The Man That Got Away. And I hadn't done any Judying for quite a while. And I thought, oh, well, why not? I'll share it to a Judy Garland fan site that I was a member of on Facebook.
Now, that can be a dangerous proposition.
I know.
Yes.
I know. I was thinking, oh, it's like putting your head in the lion's mouth, isn't it?
Exactly.
When you put yourself out there, you've got to be prepared to take whatever comes. But I just thought, oh, why not? They might like it. Who knows? And then I carried on doing it. And then I started to get sort of friend requests and things like that. And I thought, oh, that's nice. And views started building up, and I continued doing a song a day. And so then I thought, I'll do another Judy one then. And it just took off in a way that I completely wasn't expecting. Literally, I just did it for some friends, really, you know, and something to do while you're stuck at home, not being able to go anywhere.
And did you have at that time a YouTube channel, or did that came later?
Yeah, I
if I'm not mistaken, you don't even have a website. This is all, that's amazing.
I'm not professional. I'm a mum.
No, trust me, you're professional. I mean, I know people that have been doing this their entire lives who could not touch the hem of your skirt. And I mean that with all due respect. You know, it's true. You are incredible at what you do. And everyone knows it. Our dear friend, Rosa Puzo, I'm going to do a shout out to her because she called me and she's, please interview Debbie Wileman. Yeah. And I said, well, Rose, if she will do an interview with me, I will be the happiest guy on the planet. And she's a writer. And there you are. Because well, some people might call me a stalker because I really.
You're not outside, are you?
No.
Standing in the rain.
Far across the ocean. No, because I really do, love. But how did the YouTube channel come to be?
Oh, literally, I was just getting a lot of views on Facebook, and I thought, and I had a few people who aren't on Facebook who we know say, I can't see them, I'm not on Facebook. So I said, I'll try and work out how to put them on YouTube. That was it, really. It was just so that people like Stuart Black could see them, who's a family friend who's going to be 97 this month.
Wow.
But yeah, it's literally, I just did the YouTube thing so that people who don't have Facebook could see them. And I think so a little bit easier, I could send them to people on an email or something like, I did a song, here you go.
And with the work that you're doing and you're getting it out there, I'm assuming that you don't have a publicist, that you're doing all of this yourself. You put it out there and it's all coming. I'm sure you've heard of Randy Rainbow that we have here, and Seth Sykes. And then I put you in that category as well, that you're all celebrating, well, with Randy, these incredible parodies, but Seth Sykes also celebrates the music of Judy Garland with his own spin on it. Check him out. He's really wonderful. But where do you envision, I mean, obviously, none of us know how long this pandemic is going to happen. But do you have a vision of the other side of that divide and how you will continue, I hope, to pursue this as a career?
Honestly, no. No, not really. I mean, hopefully, I'd love to do more. I'd love to do stuff. I'd love to do stuff live because I enjoy singing for an audience and things like that. And, hopefully I'll get some gigs or some recording. I don't know.
I would tell you, I would venture to say that when the pandemic is over, if you book yourself in New York, you will sell out quicker than you can say your name.
Wow.
I really do believe that.
And there's a lot of lovely people that I've sort of connected with since doing this, particularly in New York, actually, but there's lots everywhere that, I'd love to meet, and I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it when I was asked to do Since You Left New York with Billy Stritch and Sandy Knox, who both wrote the song together. That was just insane to me. I was just like, are you joking? It's brilliant.
Since you bring that up, I'd like to share a clip of that number. So this is Since You Left New York, written by Billy Stritch and
Sandy
Knox, and of course performed by Debbie Wileman. Here it is.
Central Park, the birds refused to sing. And I heard the flowers have decided to cancel spring. And that Manhattan moon lost the shine it had before. And I can't see the lights of the skyline anymore. That's how it's been since you left New York.
The busiest city is the loneliest town. Oh, because you've gone away.
I walk in a daze. It's so hard to get around. And that's how it'll be till you come back to stay.
No New Year's Eve in old Times Square. No reason to celebrate if you won't be there.
So much to do here, but it's all become a bore. Even the lady in the harbor has turned down her torch. That's how it's been
Since you
left New York.
Thank you, Billy Stritch, for getting that to me. It's incredible. How did what was the process of you two coming together and making this happen?
That was through Sandy Knox, who co-wrote the song with Billy. I can't remember what video it was. It was quite early on because I did a song a day when it was sort of more strict lockdown. I did a song a day for 100 days in a row. And they weren't all Judy. It was like a mixture of stuff.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I want to let everyone know it's not just Judy Garland. All these other incredible voices. And you did mention earlier that you did do a production of Little Voice, one of my favorite movies. I love the movie so much. But do you find that you're placing your voice in a different place for each of these different voices? Or what's going on psychologically with you?
Yeah, you do. One does sing them differently, I suppose. I mean, I don't know, really. I just try and sound like them. I mean, I do listen to, there's not that much planning goes into it, I'm afraid. I sort of think, what am I going to do today? Sometimes I've got an idea a few days before and think, yeah, I'll do that.
Are people sending you suggestions now with songs that they would?
Yeah, a lot of people send me requests and stuff. And if I like the song and if I can get a backing for it in my key, generally I'll do it. If I decide, okay, I'm going to do a Shirley Bassey tonight, I will listen to Shirley Bassey that day and sort of get it in my head. Try and brush up on my impersonation, and just sing it. I don't know.
Obviously through the internet you are getting your name out there. What's the biggest surprise that you've encountered in terms of, like Billy Stritch, of course, is an incredible entertainer to work with him. Are there other offers coming your way as well?
Not really. I mean, there's a possible sort of 5 concerts, hopefully next summer, but it's all dependent on COVID.
Yes.
So hopefully there's this, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. That's the thing.
Oh, well, then we won't talk about it.
Hopefully I'll be going to Provincetown next summer.
I was just in Provincetown last weekend. I will plan on going back to Provincetown for you. But
that's all. And Sandy and Billy have said that, or Sandy specifically said that hopefully we'll do a bit more recording together, which would be fabulous. I'd love that. So yeah, Sandy commented on one of my videos early on and said, "Oh, I'd love you to sing one of my songs. Perhaps you could find a backing track for one of them."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, who dis? And I looked her up and was like, oh my gosh, she wrote Does He Love You?
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. Love it. I first heard that, my university tutor put it on a CD for me when I was about 20. And it's the Liza and the Donna Summer version I was most familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that song. And I was like, oh my God, she wrote that. So messaging, and I sent her a picture of me holding Liza Minnelli's Gently CD that it's on, you know, going, ah! And we got chatting and stuff. And it was Sandy who said, you know, I co-write with Billy Stritch, and we've got a song that we'd quite like you to maybe have a go at singing. And I was like, oh, yes, please.
How long did it take for the two of you to do that?
How long did it take?
Yes,
it was
for the recording.
It was sort of ping-ponged back and forth. So Sandy said, what key do you want it in? She sent me a sort of demo of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to phone my dad, because I'm afraid I don't read music and I don't really play anything. So I had to phone my dad down in Hastings, which is on the south coast, the British south coast seaside. Go, Dad, right, I've sent you the song. What key am I doing it in? So he's playing guitar over the phone. I'm going, they turned down the light. No, they turned down the light. No, that's too low. Finally got that it was F. So he's like, I think you're doing it in F. So I'm like, all right, brilliant, F. So then I sent Sandy Knoxville, it's in F. And then she got a backing track made in Nashville, where she is, sent it to me here. And then I recorded it in my bedroom upstairs on my iPhone. Literally, that was recorded on an iPhone. Me listening to the backing track on an old iPhone, recording it on a new iPhone, not in that new, secondhand. And it's one of the lower numbers. So that's recorded live, me singing and the video all at the same time. And then I sent it back to Sandy. Then Billy recorded his vocals in New York. Then it was all sent back to Nashville and mixed. And
your voices blend so well together.
I know, it's brilliant. Oh, I know, she says.
Well, of course, it's true. I won't argue with you.
I was just really chuffed with the results and just so honoured that they'd asked me to do it. You know, brilliant. So hopefully I do more with them. And
I want to ask you, how deep down have you delved into? I know that Judy is, I would say, your rising star. That's the voice that people most know you for right now. Yeah. But the other voices you do as well. But how deep have you delved into Judy's life and career? Oh, I mean, obviously, you know, I wrote this sort of show about her for my degree. So I did a lot of research for that. But that was many years ago. But I'm just a big fan, really. You know, I don't have to do tons of research because I'm a fan. So, you know, I don't have to watch the films to learn stuff. I already have all the films. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm a big fan. I know a lot of stuff anyway. I've been to see Lorna and Liza in concert, you know, and again, that was crazy. I went to see Liza Minnelli do her tour where she was celebrating Kay Thompson, and then to have Facebook friends like Jim Caruso, who was on that tour, and Cortez Alexander, they're on the tour and they're talking to me and saying, oh, I like your video. You crazy? No way. You know, and how many, 9 years ago or something, I was in an audience going, oh, so fantastic. It's really nice and weird. But yeah, I don't know. I delved pretty much into Judy's life and career and everything just because I'm a big fan anyway. So is there a particular arrangement that you are just absolutely dying to get your hands on right now. There are a lot of people out there who are listening, so maybe we can make this happen. So,
Oh my God.
is there a particular arrangement that you would say I would kill to be able to do an arrangement of that song?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I was very lucky that Fred Barton did me Hello Bluebird, and
Which I saw, and Fred Barton is a dear friend of mine. I love Fred.
Oh, really? Lovely. And Billy Stritch did I Could Go On Singing.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Ty Jeffries did a lovely one for What Now My Love. David Wayne Fox did The Boy Next Door. I've been very lucky. John Hopkinson, he did a beautiful one for It Never Was You. I've been very lucky with that. The very talented musicians on here have very kindly sent me back.
I've got a comment from someone who's watching here who said that you should do Britain's Got Talent. Is that something that you would consider doing?
I really don't like it.
I don't either.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of competition shows. I don't like competing artists or performers against each other. And there's something somehow cruel about exposing. I know as an entertainer myself, going into an audition room and standing in front of a few people and doing a number and then having them scrutinize you is one thing. To put that on a national level is something that I personally would never even consider for myself. So it's interesting to hear your take on that.
I don't like them. I think the audition stage that they televise is cruel a lot of times, because there's people that they put through who I think they have dreams. They have dreams. They're honestly going out there to try and do something, and the people in charge have put them on with the sole purpose of being laughed at, and I think that's really mean. It's like the sort of modern day equivalent of laughing at people. I don't want to say in the asylum, but there are people who you think you shouldn't be laughing at these people. They've gone in here honestly wanting to do something with their dream, and you're laughing at them and you're putting it for millions.
Well, it's for that very reason that I personally am not a huge fan of a lot of impersonators, because I feel that they're making fun of the subject, that they will find a flaw in their personality and magnify it over and over and over again. And I don't see that with you. So I really appreciate the fact that what you do is an homage to the many women that you do celebrate. And right now, who are the others? I know Shirley Bassey, Julie Andrews, I think.
I've only done one Julie Andrews, so I'd quite like to do some more, actually. I'd never done Julie Andrews before, and I just thought, it gives you, doing this has given me the opportunity to try things and have a bit of fun and think, well, go on then, have a go. Like doing some Doris Day. I'd never tried impersonating Doris Day, and I wasn't per se doing a Doris Day when I sang Secret Love, but it did come out sounding a bit like her. It wasn't like a big effort to try and sound like her. I wasn't like thinking, but it just sort of was a bit. And
excluding the women that we've already mentioned, who are your favorite singers?
Oh, there's lots. Well, obviously Judy and Liza and Frank Sinatra, but I do really love John Lennon's singing voice and Dave Crosby. I absolutely love Crosby, Stills and Nash, and I think Dave Crosby has such a pure, beautiful singing voice. Also, if you think pure and beautiful singing voices, there's a British singer called Sandy Denny. She unfortunately died in, I think, 1977. She fell down a flight of stairs. Oh, wow. She was with a band called Fairport Convention and also Fotheringay. And she's a folk singer, but she did do some stuff with Led Zeppelin. And she's got such a beautiful voice. I can't sing like her. Oh, Janice as well. Janice Joplin. Love Janice Joplin. Again, I can't sound like
I have a friend who did Janice Joplin off Broadway. She was a standby, and she ended up going on more times than anyone else because of her own singing. She was able to sustain the voice. Can you imagine doing Janice Joplin 8 times a week?
No, no, I can't. I'm sure I will have forgotten people that I love, like Mel Torme. I really like.
And we just lost Helen Reddy, and I am such a huge Helen Reddy fan. Have you done any of her music?
No, and actually, I hadn't really heard any Helen Reddy at all. The first time I was ever made aware of Helen Reddy, and I had to look her up on Google, was when I was watching Pete's Dragon about 6 months ago. I bought it for my little girl, and we were watching it.
And we're talking about the original, not the remake.
Oh yeah, the original. Come on.
Yes.
Mickey Rooney or
With Mickey Rooney.
What am I going to choose? Come on.
Now, with the work that you've been doing and studying Judy, have you also looked at the work of other people who have impersonated her? For example, Jim Bailey?
Not that much, to be honest. I think I don't really want to get distracted, or, you know, I'd rather just look at her. If I'm trying to sort of do an impersonation or whatever, I don't want to get someone else.
You know, it's very interesting.
There, you know what I mean?
If people will look at most impersonators, and I appreciate that you say that, most people, an impersonator will come in and do an affectation, like Betty Davis with a cigarette. And then every other person that follows in that person's footsteps, like Charles Pierce, who had his own style, was wonderful. I was a huge fan, would do and then every single person who does a Betty Davis impression feels that they need to do the same thing. And I don't feel that they are capturing that person's heart and soul when they go out to do this. Now, all of your work as Judy, for the most part, I know that you've done Little Voice and other things, and the show that you wrote has been for the camera. How do you approach what you do for the camera with someone like Judy Garland, who was bigger than life, differently from you would if you were in front of an audience in a theater space?
I guess it would be bigger. And I don't know, not that much different, to be fair. I'm just doing it, I suppose. I have done it on stage quite a lot. And it's nicer because you can, in a way, it's nicer doing it. There's different aspects of it, to be honest. Different things are better than others. But if you do it live, you can really interact with the audience. So, you know, like if you're doing the trolley song medley, say, from the Carnegie Hall concert, you can get down in the audience, you can sit on somebody's lap. I've done that, and that's brilliant. That's great fun. I enjoy doing that. I like having an interaction with an audience, and I'm quite happy with sort of ad-libbing and doing stuff like that. So it is fun to do live stuff because it's not necessarily always the same, and you can get that interaction with an audience. You can get eye contact with people. And I don't know, I've not really done presenting or much TV work or anything. So the doing it to camera like I've been doing at home is just trial and error. I'm doing it as if I would do it to someone if they were stood in front of me. They would be like that. But I don't know. I find it, I enjoy being on stage. I like doing stuff live. You know, with Little Voice, it was to 2,000 seater theatres and stuff like that. So, you know, I like performing to an audience. So it's not that different. I wouldn't approach it that differently, because if I'm trying to be like Judy, you're just trying to be like her. So I'm not really tailoring it necessarily, other than looking at the camera, which I know some people have said she never looked at the camera, but it's like, yeah, she never sang in front of her washing machine as far as I'm aware. So it's not supposed to be exactly Judy Garland, exactly every move she did, because I mean, if I was doing something a bit more professional, like a show or on where people would be paying or something.
But don't you also feel, Debbie, that if you were to go that route and you were doing the mechanics of Judy Garland, when Judy sang and she threw her arm out, she was in an emotional state of mind when that happened.
Yeah,
and
moving sometimes. If you're putting that much physical effort into singing, you can't really help what your face is doing sometimes. I know I've been very lucky and not had many nasty comments, which is astounding, honestly. But I do get a few, obviously. I mean, everyone gets snarky comments.
No, I've gotten my few. So.
There's some about like my bulging eyes and things like this. Do you know what? I'm putting a lot of effort into seeing. I'm not really conscious of what my eyeballs are doing. I can't control that. Do you know? I'm sort of hitting a big high note and going for it. I'm not thinking, my eye. When you're putting that much force into physically singing, you can't really control. You know, it is. You know, sometimes you have to move in a certain way to get your chest to do, you know, I am thinking about how I move in a certain way, but not all the time. You can't, because you're just trying to hit the note or, you know, perform. And you're right. It is an emotional sort of thing of moving when you're singing and emoting. Sometimes you can't help having big eyes or.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't sing it like that.
Well, I want to ask you, with everything that's been going on, and congratulations, by the way, on everything, how is your husband and your parents responding to all of this?
Yeah, great. My mum and dad watch all of them, and sort of usually I'll phone them that night or the next day and go, what'd you think? Did you like it? Occasionally I've said, before I've posted something, I said this and I was joking. Is that too much, do you think? Is that all right? Can I put that on there? So I'll sometimes ask my mum and dad. I'm very close to my parents. I'm an only child, and we're very close. My husband, he's happy. You know, he's pleased that I'm doing something that makes me happy and it gives me something to do. And I think.
And what does your husband do?
He's a computer programmer. Okay. He has absolutely no desire to be in any of these videos. He doesn't want to be. He is like, no, I'll make. He's filmed a couple.
And is there anything that you're working on right now that we can look forward to? What's ahead for Debbie Wileman?
Oh, well, I do. I have had a bit of an idea for Christmas, because a lot of people have said that it would be nice, and I agree with them, to maybe do some songs as Judy Garland that she never sang. That it would be nice to hear possibly what it would have sounded like with her singing it. You know, there are some songs that, you know, were written for her that she never got to sing and things like that. But also just, I think it might be funny or fun to maybe do a song that you wouldn't necessarily think of her doing as well. So I've been thinking of maybe doing something a little fun for December. Also, I've been in talks with a lovely lady called Melissa, who runs a miniature railway down by where my parents live, for a possible future Judy video. But since I've been put in lockdown, I can't actually go down there. So I've had to message her and say it might be a few more weeks. And also, as the weather gets worse, this is it's going to take, you know, what is it raining? Or, you know, there might be some people going, it never looked like that in the film. But yeah, I've got a few things lined up, but I don't really plan that much in advance, because from the minute my daughter gets up, today it was 7 a.m, to when she goes to sleep, which is like maybe 9 p.m, until my husband finishes work at 7, it's literally just me looking after my daughter.
Well, I was going to ask, where do you find the time to do these? It's just amazing.
That's why they're put on late at night. I can't do it while she's awake. As you saw, I mean, my husband's taken her upstairs now, but if she's around, I did try filming one of them while she was still awake. Literally, she was putting my hair in an oven glove whilst I was trying to film.
Oh, God bless her.
Work. So I've got to wait until she's gone to bed. So I end up doing them late at night. But I have my neighbour, who might even be able to hear me now. My neighbour doesn't like noise, and he complains, and he's not the most friendly of chaps. So that's why a lot of my videos are in my car. Because if you
can imagine, and I'm sure that there are so many people who are watching would all love to live next door to you and hear
I love to live next door to me.
I certainly would. Debbie, I can't believe this, but our hour is up. You know, It flew. I want to say a few things before we sign off. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank Rosa Puzo for pulling the strings and making this happen. I want to let you all know that if you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you all did, please go to my website, which is richardskipper.com. Sign my guest book with your thoughts about the show, because that helps to boost me in other markets. I also end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. And I always pick a number, and today is a 7 day. So I want you to go to your 7th friend on Facebook, and I want you to go to YouTube, subscribe to Debbie's channel, and then I want you to send your favorite YouTube clip to the 7th friend on your list. And let's just make her go even more viral than she already is, but in a good way. And
viral is not something you want to be in a pandemic, is it? Really?
No. And then I also want to let everyone know that tomorrow night I'm interviewing Norman Matthews. He was in the movie version of Hello, Dolly. Very funny story that he has about working in the film. Almost. It's in the book. And also he traveled with Dorothy Lamour in her production of Hello, Dolly. Oh, wow. Debbie, once again, thank you. And before we sign off, I want to give you the final word. If there's any message that you want to send out to everyone who's watching today, anything you want to say, anything that we didn't cover that you want to put out, it could just be a message of positivity or not, depending on whatever you want to give. I turn the stage over to you. And again, I'm very grateful that you spent an hour with me. Thank you.
Oh, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I am sure that when I come off here, I will have completely forgotten loads of stuff and go, oh, I didn't mention them and I didn't mention, oh no. But, you know, I just want to thank everyone who's watched the videos and said nice things, because it's lovely for me. You know, I'm not doing anything other than looking after a 2.5-year-old. Well, almost.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
All day. And it's really nice to have met and connected with loads of people and, you know, having little chats with people and stuff, and to know that these little videos I've been making have been really cheering some people up. And that's really nice to know. And yeah, thank you everybody for your nice comments and for watching and for getting in touch. And thanks for everyone who's made me backing tracks or sent me backing tracks, and for sending me little prezzies as well. I got a top in the post today from Kenny Bonavita Cola, so thank you very much. I'll post a picture of me wearing it tomorrow. And a beautiful poster from James Mace, which I'm having framed. And yeah, Bobby, my lovely friend from Pittsburgh, sent me some lovely gifts for singing a song for him, which is completely unexpected. I don't want anything. I was purely doing this to just do something nice and fun, to take your mind off the sort of horrors of craziness and all that. And it's been just astounding, the response, and to be able to do things like this, Richard. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled, you know, to hear from people who knew Judy as well, like my friend Larry Russell and John Meyer, and just, you know, a lovely gentleman called Chuck sent me some lovely messages today. He played a video of me singing as Judy to Judy's grave and filmed it and sent it to me.
Oh wow,
which really touched me. And it's just I've been sent all sorts. It's just lovely to hear from people and connect to people, especially when you're feeling quite alone and quite sort of marooned or whatever. It's been a real godsend for me to sort of get through this, and it's sort of like mutual. So thanks everybody, and thank you Richard and Rose, and
I have a song request if you haven't done it already, and that's Little Drops of Rain.
Oh, I haven't. I need to get a backing track for that.
Great.
I haven't done anything from Gay Puri. That would be something. Paris is an Only Town. I'd like to sing that as well. That's a good one. Little Drops of Rain. Okay, noted. I will try.
Okay, and thank you.
Oh, a pleasure. Thank you.
Till next time. Thank you.